control. Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes me with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and these are the Night Terrors. Sorry, just a little bit of theatrics, but welcome to the show, everybody. Hope you had a great day. I had a good day, busy day, got a lot done, though. And good news, first and foremost, I just want to let everybody know, if you're a follower of the podcast, there's been a little bit of a lapse. It's some of it was planned just because it's doing 3 shows a week on top of 7 shows a week on YouTube. We did 3 podcasts a week, 7 shows YouTube, 10 shows a week collectively. We needed a break. We really did. We needed some time to just decompress. But I've had people reaching out going, hey, what's going on with the podcast? Where is it? Now, also, unbeknownst to many of you, is that, we have annual contracts with Revolver Podcasts. So we were just negotiating the next round of contracts. And today, like just minutes ago, I finally signed the contract because we got everything worked out. And we will be launching new podcasts in the next couple days, I guess. I'm not sure. We're on a new system now as well, so I got to learn what the hell I'm doing. But look for the new podcast to be launching very soon. And good news, ladies and gentlemen, we will be also available on Stitcher. That is now a part of our network of distribution. So if you use Stitcher, you'll be able to find the Paranormal Portal on Stitcher. So that's first and foremost. Just wanted to bring you guys all into that. So thank you all very much. And thank you for your patience as we worked through all that stuff and got that all done. I know I've been getting more and more messages from people like, hey, what's going on? Where's the podcast? Well, that's what's going on. And I didn't really probably do my job in just keeping people updated. So I apologize to any of you out there that are really confused by all of this. It's just so much going on. But anyway, that's the big news, first and foremost. So I just literally minutes ago signed the contract, so it'll be, very soon more of those will be happening. Thanks, Duke. I appreciate that, brother. And thank you, Brandon. I appreciate that. Now, on a side note, and this is a beautiful thing. I'm really proud of him for doing this. I think this is an incredible thing, in an incredible way to memorialize an incredible person that we all know and love. Of course, Mr. Kevin Lang is who we're talking about, but our very own Duke Sullivan, World Bigfoot Radio, will be doing a premiere tomorrow night on the World Bigfoot Radio channel on YouTube. And it is, and Duke, correct me if I'm wrong, but 6, and you're in Mountain Time, right? 6 p.m. Mountain Time is when you're launching the premiere. If that's not correct, please let me know in the chat as soon as possible. But that should be an amazing show. He's rebooted it. He's retooled the Glag Saga and is doing it on a premiere. At least part 1 is tomorrow. Let's see. I'm going to read his announcement to me so that I don't screw this up somehow. He said, I wanted to let you know the retooled Glag Saga is premiering tomorrow night, 6 p.m. my time, on YouTube, which is the World Bigfoot Radio channel, again, ladies and gentlemen. And since it's a premiere, there will be live chat during and a half hour in advance of the premiere. Was hoping you could make an announcement. Yeah, of course, definitely. So that's tomorrow night on the World Bigfoot Radio channel. You know, so that's 5. Yeah, I mean, so it's great. Head over there to the World Bigfoot Radio channel tomorrow night. Catch the Retug Lag Saga, and just as a beautiful memorial to our friend Kevin, and to just celebrate that life and what he left us with. So I hope you guys will check it out, and we really appreciate it. New sound, 80 new images. Duke says 6 Mountain Time is when it is happening. So yes, that is correct. So I wanted to get that out there first and foremost. And good job, brother. I mean, that's just beautiful that you did that and you're doing that. And I know, of course, Gleg and Kevin's story is, just amazing. It's incredible. And, I'm going to do my best to be there for as much as I can. So that is also, something coming up tomorrow night. What else? There was something else I was going to say too. Oh man, I've forgotten. But anyway, during the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen, the phone lines will be open. You can call in by calling 720-923-0500. Again, 720-923-0500 is the number for the portal if you want to call in. We had some great call-ins last night. Thank you guys for that. I really appreciate it. It's wonderful hearing from you guys. That's amazing. So if more of you want to call in, tonight's your lucky night because I'll be waiting. I'm watching the lines just like a cat. It's over here on this monitor. If you ever see me looking this way, it's because I'm checking. And sometimes I forget to check. So I'm getting better, though. But great to see all you guys coming into the channel. Thank you all for joining me and being a part of the journey here tonight. So, Saturday night, remember. Mr. Dean Harrison will be joining us, the amazing Yowie researcher from Australia. He'll be returning to the portal on Saturday night. If you didn't catch part 1, get to the archives on YouTube here and check it out. Great guy, just a really amazing guy, and an incredible storyteller. I mean, he's just so much energy and passion in his stories. So tune in on Saturday night right here on the Paranormal Portal. Mr. Dean Harrison will be joining us. So we're really excited about that episode coming up as well. I don't know. Is there any other episodes that I wanted to bring out? I can't think right now. I've just been running a marathon today. So I'm here with you. We're going to just get into these stories and hopefully you'll be wildly entertained. So I hope you're ready because it's time for bed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're right at it right away again tonight now. So I hope you're ready for some incredible encounter stories of people having experiences with the ghosts. And yeah, I love these stories. Man, I'm just kind of jazzed right now. It's good to get things done, to get things working in a forward trajectory again. I felt like I was kind of in limbo there for the last week on several things. So it's good to see things coming together and moving forward. So anyway, let's get going. The first story tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is coming out of Kentucky. It has to do with haunted places. This is the one I looked at last night and was like, oh, it's too long. I didn't have enough time last night to read this one. It's not that it's horribly long, but it was too long for the few minutes that we had left last night. So let me read it to you tonight. It says, this all started back when I was 7 or 8 in Kentucky, where I still live in the same house. It says, my family and I had moved all the way across town, which at my age really didn't bother me. I didn't change schools or anything. And shortly after we moved in, fixed up the place, it started once in a while, and I would hear my name being called. It would always sound just like my dad, so I'd run upstairs and ask him what he wanted me for, and he would tell me that he never called my name. At first, I thought my dad was just really messing with me because he likes to joke around, but as I grew older, and when I was home alone, it started happening more and more. After a while of hearing my name called, I got used to it and started believing my dad really was just messing with me. During one weekend, I was downstairs by myself with my dog watching television while my dad was upstairs asleep when I heard my name being called again. I knew my dad was asleep. I got up off the bed and walked out of the room and down the short hallway through my living room to the stairs. All the lights upstairs were off, and I checked on my dad anyhow, and he was still asleep. I went back downstairs pretty creeped out. My dog didn't follow me back into the room or even into the hallway. I began watching television again when I felt like someone was watching me. I got freaked out and turned off the TV and left the room and back out in the hallway where my dog was waiting for me. This started to happen so much, I would no longer go into that room or even the hallway if the lights were off. I'd get scared to death just looking at that hallway with the lights off, and pretty soon I'd not even go into the hallway with the lights on unless I had someone with me. Then about a year after being deathly afraid of that hallway, once again, I was home alone, and I guess I was somewhere around the age of 11, thinking I was big enough to stay at my house alone, or so I thought. I was watching television in the living room. The hallway is connected to the living room and was to my right. And as I was watching television, I heard my name called from the hallway like a whisper. The first time I actually barely heard it. A couple of minutes later, I heard my name called again from the hallway, louder this time. I jumped up and stood looking around into the dark hallway. I can't remember if I actually saw anything, but I'm pretty sure I didn't. I ran upstairs and turned on everything I could, lights, TVs, computers. I got over it after a while, but never telling anyone about it or anything before that. Soon after that, I was playing hide and go seek with my younger brother, and we used to hide in the closet of the room where I felt watched. And I went into the closet feeling proud, knowing I had him, for I saw the clothes moving on the hangers. And I pushed some of the clothes aside with great effort, I might add, for my mom had like 100 pounds of clothes hanging from the crap. It says from the crap. But I found no one. But I knew he was hiding there. I pushed back part of the clothes that were moving, and then I pushed aside more of them, and then where I heard someone laughing. Soon I gave up and yelled for my brother to come out, and he yelled from the outside of the room further down the hall in the other room. I then heard voices talking and laughing to each other. Well, I got out of there so fast, it wasn't funny, and it just scared me out of my mind. It got pretty quiet after that. I'd still hear my name called about once a month, but it really quieted down, but I was still scared of the hallway and any part of the house that didn't have any lights on. The room where you walk into my house, lights used to be off almost all the time. So I would run as fast as I could to the upstairs to the living room. A couple of months after I turned 12, while I was doing something, when I jerked my head up for whatever reason, I saw this figure, and he was light blue, almost white. He wore clothes that looked like they were from like 20 or 30 years ago. He wore a nice-looking suit and a hat that had a feather in it. He just looked at me, and I at him for what was only a few seconds, and then, boom, he was gone. After that, I was badly shook up, scared. I was scared of all the downstairs unless I had someone with me, but to my surprise, it just stopped. I can't remember ever hearing him call my name again after that. Yet I'd still feel like someone was watching me, and have cold spots once in a while. I'm now 16, and I can still feel him watching me every once in a while, especially when I talk about him. I've told my friends about him, and they have all laughed at me for being afraid of my hallway. My mom doesn't believe me. My brother, who I found out also had the voice calling his name, doesn't want to believe in ghosts because of the Christian religion. My dad is one of the few people that believes, even though it's never happened to him. About a year ago, it started up again, but differently. He just walks up behind me and watches me, and I can't see him, but I know he's there. Around 6 months ago, my light started to flicker on and off. And I didn't think anything of it until it went on for about 10 minutes straight. I'd been reading into ghosts and had been talking about him to my dad and a few friends who actually believe me. And I finally got the courage to unplug the light, half expecting it to keep on flickering. I'm just really glad it didn't. Around 3 or 4 months ago, I told another friend about it, and he told me about his ghost that he can see and actually talk to. He talked me into going into the hallway by myself with the lights off and talk to him. As I sat down, I began to try to clear my mind, but I've never meditated or anything like that before, so it was really difficult. As I managed to clear away most of my thoughts, I began to listen and asked him questions, trying to hear him, and the most I heard were whispers I couldn't understand or quiet thumps. And I thought I had just stayed there for 5 minutes at the most, but my friend who I was on the phone with told me he'd been trying to talk to me for 20 minutes. I don't remember anything. I may have heard or done in those 20 minutes, but I don't know. But I gave up after that night thinking it was just a lost cause. About a week after that, I woke up for school. I went to jump into the shower like every morning, and I heard him yell, "Boo!" I jumped, woke up. I jumped, woke up completely and looked around for him, and I still couldn't see him, so I asked, "Why do you scare me?" Well, I didn't get an answer, and I haven't tried to talk to him since, yet I can feel him watch me at night, and I don't think he's a bad ghost, but I'm afraid to learn how to talk with him. I haven't been able to learn anything about this house, so I know next to nothing about who lived here before us or if anyone had died here, and I have no idea who he could be. Yeah, that's a strange one. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't seem malicious. It's really nothing that this person describes seem aggressive at all. It's just a presence. It's maybe just someone wanting to be acknowledged. I don't know. Or having some kind of a fascination for this individual. It's hard to know. I think that can sometimes be why there are attachments. And it's, I think a lot of times it may be that some person may remind the spirits of someone that they loved or were very attached to in their lives. So they just attach, they follow. And, attachment is such it's such a creepy word. And I don't think that it's necessarily, truly as creepy as that sounds. I mean, it's not like there's some spiritual tentacles that are intertwined, or wrapped around you. I don't think that that's the case anyway. I think it's just an emotional attachment. It's a familiarity or something attractive about a person that a ghost just wants to stay close to. Could be the energy the person has, the aura that they have, or their their light, for lack of a better term. It's hard to know why. And I don't think it's nefarious. I don't think that a ghost having an attachment in and of itself is nefarious. I think it's maybe comforting to them. And if it's not causing you problems, then, what is the harm? And I'm not, I say that hesitantly because, of course, many people believe they don't belong here in the first place. But how do we know that? How do we know that? Because we can't see them, they don't belong here? Because they're not participating in the world the same way we are, they don't belong here? It's kind of an egotistical thing to say, no, you don't belong here, you need to go somewhere else. Well, they may belong here just about as much as we do. Who can make that judgment? I believe there's a better world for those beings and spirits that have passed, those people that have passed. I don't think that it's always a positive thing that they're still here, but this could be part of their experience too, or part of their journey too, in that maybe you have to be at a certain point spiritually as far as your, I don't like the words purity, but prepared to that extent to live in that spiritual place. Perhaps they still have too much luggage emotionally or whatever to move on. And it's maybe not as simple as just going, okay, I'm going to just release that and go to the next world. It's like telling somebody that's maybe dealing with depression, don't be sad, be happy. Can they? Well, they can't. And maybe it's the same thing for some of these spirits. Say, go to the next world, go to the light, it's where you belong. Well, maybe they just can't. Maybe they're not able to because they haven't processed that parts of their emotions, their psyche, their awareness. Maybe they have too much damage that they got to work through, and it's going to take them more time than their bodies gave them, and so they still linger and in our realm while they process those things. I don't know. It just occurred to me tonight as I was talking, but how do we know whether or not they belong here? I mean, really, what do we know? We don't know anything. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not degrading us or what we're capable of knowing, but I think that a lot of this stuff is so speculative, and people think they understand it, and maybe some people do. I'm not one of them, though. I don't know all these nuances. I don't know what the politics of our next experience is, but all I can tell you is that it doesn't, as long as they're not destructive. I mean, if something's destructive, you got to get it the hell gone. I mean, it just can't be here, but because it'll wreck your life or wreck the people's lives around you. But if it's just a benign presence that just makes itself known once in a while, there really isn't that much harm in that. And maybe it's a good thing in some ways. I don't know. Just my opinion. But the reason I say that is because we've covered so many stories on the show, one of which happened to a caller that we had a long time ago. And I can't remember for sure who this person was, but I think it might even have been Ken, but maybe not. No, I don't think it was Ken, but it was around when we first started the portal. We got a call from somebody, and this person lived in a cabin in the woods. And every once in a while, they'd see this old man spirit. It would just kind of be there looking at them and then just disappear and stuff. And it was this presence that was just kind of there. And it sounded, as I'm recalling, it sounded like it was just part of life, that this presence was there and seemed to mind its own business, got a little crabby about some things, but, for the most part, minded its business. But that same person was woke up one night being shaken violently. And they woke up, and here was the old man spirit shaking them, saying, "You've got to get out now. You've got to get out now. Get out of this house now." And they looked around, and the house was on fire. And if this spirit hadn't woken them, they probably wouldn't have made it out. So maybe sometimes these spirits can be a great thing to have around. I don't know. Just food for thought. I'm not I'm not advocating that everybody should have their own ghost. But if you do have one around and it's not causing you problems, maybe it's not a bad thing to have around. I don't know. Just putting it out there. So anyway, that was a good story, though. I like that. Nothing over the top again. I don't think there was anything cautionary about that whole story. It's just dealing with the presence, someone that's still here. All right, the next one is coming from Oregon. Not too very long. It's a little longer. It has to do with haunted places. It says, I mentioned quite a while ago that some of the characters my wife and I are or were sharing our home with, it wasn't until just a few weeks ago that I realized that something's changed. It must have been gradual because there weren't any amazing instances of doors flying open or messages written on steamy bathroom mirrors. Nothing of the like. It just feels different now. It feels like my home is empty. When I realized this, I sat down and meditated, something I haven't done in a long time. Oh, cool. And I've just been too busy lately, but I made the time to do so a few weeks ago. I sought out the middle-aged woman in my kitchen and dining room, and I couldn't feel her there at all. The living room was also bare of activity, and this explains why my keys haven't gone missing lately. And the middle bedroom, my den where I keep my computers, was devoid of anything of a spiritual nature as well. I hesitated sending my mind into the small bedroom, the one where the angry old man had been, until I banished him. But I got up the nerve and searched it. And there I saw something very small, very weak, almost helpless. It seemed like a small ball of energy trying to hang on to his existence, but I couldn't pinpoint where exactly it was in the room. It always seemed to be the furthest away from me, no matter where I moved my mind. I said, it's okay here. As long as you don't mean any harm or want to cause trouble, you're welcome to stay. It was kind of odd for me because I've never actually tried to talk to a spirit this way, using my mind. I've always verbally spoken that I wanted them to hear, but when I said this to the tiny ball of little energy, I could feel my own lips move while I was sitting on the living room floor. Anyway, nothing seemed to have changed at all. The energy stayed small and never left that room until about a week ago. I was sitting at my computer playing an online game, having a grand old time killing the bad guys. You gamers know what I mean. And I felt a finger touch me lightly on my left shoulder. Immediately afterwards, it was followed by a feeling of a tall, dark shape behind me. Not threatening, but big in size, and whatever it was said one word: Andy. A deep male voice. This in and of itself is another oddity, and that is indeed my name, but I haven't gone by it in 28 years. My wife doesn't even call me that, and I consider it a 4-letter word. It's a personal thing, not related to anything this message board specializes in, so I won't mention why I go by Andrew only. There are only a few people alive that would call me that, and certainly a lot more that have passed on that would. It happened a couple of times so far, a few days apart, and every time I turn to see who's there, there's nothing. Not even a glimpse out of the corner of my eye. I've since meditated a second time in hopes of finding out who it is, but once again, I find only that small, weak spark in that small bedroom, and it keeps as far away from me as possible, no matter how reassuringly I speak to it. There is one person that I wouldn't be surprised at being, and I would certainly welcome him into my home, though the last time I saw him, it was a foreboding experience. If it is my father, I hope it's not to send another message. If it's him to visit, he'd be greeted with open arms. My wife and I have discussed several options of other ways to contact who it is, but I refuse to use another Ouija board or to try automatic writing. That stuff just creeps me out now for some reason. But there are other possibilities that I'm considering, and if I do get the guts up to do something and find the results, I'll let you guys know. I'm kind of nervous, really. I mean, I've never actually gone out to find a spirit. They've always seemed to find me. Wish me luck. That is curious. I don't know what that is. Is it, if they had such an active haunting, did it just go dormant? Is the energy still there? Is it, did they just leave? Did they just go, well, we're done here? I suppose there comes a time when those spirits that are still here, they may get done doing whatever it was they were doing. Maybe they learned what they needed to learn, or they got the closure they were looking for. I'm just spitballing again, but maybe they do just go then. And then you have those empty spaces. I guess it's possible. All right, the next one is coming from Ohio. Ohio. Somebody wrote a message up here earlier. I saw it, and it was bigger. Brent saw that big message. It made him feel warm and fuzzy. Aussie. What big message was that? I'm fascinated by Paranormal Portal. Oh, thanks, Rick. I appreciate that. I'm fascinated by all of you guys as well. I'm absolutely fascinated. Oh, it was Aussie's message. He said, Brent, like I said last night, it doesn't matter how long it is. It's the last story, then take us over time. We all know you don't mind going overtime because you know you love us. I do love you guys, of course. This is truly and always will be one of the highlights of my days doing the shows. And it's because it doesn't feel like I'm just here talking into a microphone or looking at a camera. It feels like there's a connection. I don't know how to explain it. I don't understand it necessarily, but it feels like this is a family. I've come to know and love all of you, unless you're new to the show. And I look forward to knowing you, but it just doesn't feel like just another show. It doesn't feel like that at all. It feels like I'm getting together with friends every day, is what it feels like, and I love this part of it. So yeah, I don't mind going overtime. It's just, well, sometimes I don't have the energy to do it. I mean, it's like everything else in life. Sometimes you have an exuberance of energy and over energy, but other times you're just, it's been a long day, but I got to do the show, and I'm always glad I do. But at the end, doing the shows does take something out of you every time. It's not just a matter of saying words. It's, I don't know. Again, it's an energetic thing. It's just really cool. So I don't mind going overtime with you guys. That's for sure. I do find it funny that you guys try to strategically have people call in the last 5 minutes. That's pretty clever. But I'm honored that you want it to. I'm at the bottom of it. I'm honored that you want me to stay. That's really incredible. So I take that as an incredible compliment. So I think it's funny, but it's also incredibly humbling. So thank you guys. Elizabeth. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you doing? Thanks for stopping in. Elizabeth Dellinger. Good to see you. And hello to everybody. If I haven't seen you already, I'm glad to see you now. Okay. So the next one's coming from Ohio, ladies and gentlemen, and this one has to do with a haunted place. I got cat hair on my microphone. I can see it like floating in front of my face as I'm reading. There's these little fingers of hair just waving with my breath, and they just tickle my nose. All right. Excuse me. Hold on. All right. So this is Ohio, haunted places. It says, my friend Caitlin and I were upstairs in my room watching a haunting. Wonder if they had a ghost experience. It was on a commercial, and we were talking when we saw one of my big blow-up bouncy balls move a little bit. Well, I got a bit curious and a little bit freaked out because the ball was across the room from us, and my dogs weren't in the room with us at all. No windows were open. It was just out of thin air. The ball moved just a little. I then heard some giggling from a little girl, and being curious, I went over to the ball and I pushed it a little, and it stopped and pushed back to me. My friend was terrified and I was amazed, and I kept pushing it back and forth with this little girl or whatever it was, while my friend was almost close to tears. Let's go back downstairs, please. I don't want to be up here and watch you play with a ghost, she told me. Go downstairs. I'll be there in a bit, I told her, but she wasn't convinced. She didn't want to leave without me, but I really was enjoying actually playing with a little girl ghost. I could not see her except in my head, and I could see her little round face laughing and having a great time. I never realized that since she was so young that she never got to do very much in her life, and that's why I wanted to play ball with her, because she probably didn't have that much time in her life to play ball or any other games. I still wonder why I was so eager to play with a ghost. It was scary, but yet fun and enjoyable at the same time. I still remember it like it was yesterday, and I would surely play ball with her any time that she wants. That's interesting. Again, it's the whole little girl ghost thing. It always starts out with a little girl ghost, and it ends with screaming and exorcisms, usually. I don't trust little girl ghosts. It's not because I don't believe it's possible there are little girl ghosts that are trapped here or somehow still here for whatever reason, but I don't know. I think it's usually, or it could very well oftentimes be a ruse to get you to open yourself up. because if there's something dark and it's something nefarious, it wants to, it wants to get past your defenses. And even, if it's demonic, it could want to possess you. It could, could want any number of horrible things, and you don't know. But as far as you know, you're dealing with this gentle little kid. But then, things go sideways suddenly, and people start getting scratched, and then, things happen, and it's never, I don't know. It's such a stereotypical series of events. Starts out with a little girl. Everybody's cute and having fun and want to take care of this little wandering spirit that's lost. And then they open their hearts and homes to it, and it turns out to be some lizard crawling on your walls and, scratching people in the night and worse. So I'm always really cautious whenever I hear the little girl ghost thing. I don't know. Yeah, it could want all your Kit Kats. Well, there is that, and I'm here to tell you, if you want my Kit Kats, you got to pack a lunch. You're going to be at it for a while. Just saying. All right. Moving on, I guess I got to open up more. We burned through those stories, ladies and gentlemen. We are covering some ground here, which is always fun. I'll open up this many. How many? This many. It sounded just like Cartman in my head when I read it. Somebody, hey, you guys. All right. Let's continue. Where's the next one coming from? You may ask. Well, let me tell you. It's coming from Michigan. I got family in Michigan. It has to do with haunted places, and it says, due to a chimney fire in the last month, which actually left our home uninhabitable, my family and I were forced to move into a nearby hotel where our house was repaired and made good again. I swear to God, I just read this last night, but I'm reading it again anyway. It's a short story, so if it's a duplicate, it'll just be twice the fun. Ever since we moved into the hotel, I have been seeing strange things everywhere. They have been changing, but I think they're all related. The most common thing I see is a shadow in the corner of my eye and then disappears. Among the more bizarre was a time when I saw a flash of a different reflection in the mirror. I also had a time in which, while I was at school, walking down the hall, I saw someone behind the glass in a door. And as I opened the door, I looked in and discovered that no one was behind it. And then no one was behind me to make a reflection, which, if I remember correctly, the apparition I saw was of a short, thin, young girl with dark brown hair and a dress that was either blue or red. Her face looked dark and solemn. After this incident, I didn't see her that clearly again, but I've experienced other abnormalities. Among these are taps and tugs on me every now and then. The most recent incident was one involving a soft, irregular tapping noise lasting for 5 minutes while I was trying to sleep. She hasn't shown any aggression at all towards me so far, but I'm looking for some suggestions on what to do. Don't invite little girl spirits into your house. That's suggestion number 1. Let's go on to Colorado. This one has to do with a haunted life. Not horribly long, but it says, when we all think of a haunting, we think of it as a spirit has an attachment to a place or a person for what had happened in the past. Well, what if that's not the only way something can be haunted? Agreed. What if there is some other way? Well, if you want another way or an explanation, then I'm the person you should talk to. Wow. Good thing we found this story. I've lived in this house in Colorado for as long as it's been standing. 8 years to be more exact. No one had died here except for a few goldfish and a mouse or two. I've talked to these entities. I've seen them at work before my eyes, and to this day, they still enjoy creeping us out, and that's even what they said. They said that they only do scary things because they like to see our reaction. They make themselves known to my 2 friends and my family. Even if some of them don't admit it, I know that they had to see it before. The first time that my friends and I were talking to them and being followed by them is by the teeter-totter in my friend's backyard. This teeter-totter equal like all of them. What? This teeter-totter equal like all of them should be. I don't know what that means, but okay. But it wasn't until after our first realization that we were constantly being followed and that I noticed this. Looking out of my kitchen window, I have a clear view of my friend's backyard. And this teeter-totter always seems to be right in my line of sight. A while back, I realized that I have seen one side of the teeter-totter sitting on the ground with the other in the air. I can't say which side it would have been because they've moved it around, but every night that I would look out my kitchen window, the side touching the ground would slowly inch by inch rise towards the sky and balance the two sides out. The week that I observed this, the family was gone on vacation, and the day before they came back, the other side had made its way to the ground. When they came back, it balanced out, but always seemed to have a swing to it, as if something was tapping it, whether it was windy or not. My name is Sora, and I'm 13. Everything that I tell you is not a lie. All of this happened and is still happening to us today. No one takes the time to take me seriously because of my age, and I'm hoping that since I've found a website of believers like myself, that I will no longer be looked at as a liar and a poor storyteller. That's the hard part, too, is when people do put it out there. There's so many people that want to bash them, and that's really unfortunate. We got a call. Let's get to the call here and see who's on the horn. This is area code 757. You're on the air.
Hello, this is Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. Welcome to the show. Thanks for calling.
Thank you. I'm very nervous.
Oh, it's just me. Don't be worried.
I know.
I'm pretty gentle, I think.
I wanted to call and tell you about a couple of things that have happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, there's been a lot of stuff, but I have this thing where I sense things that are around me, like I can read people or see things. I get little flashes of visions, or I'll see something there, and it happens like the next day or something.
Ooh,
I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty powerful. That's cool.
I used to live with a guy who was really abusive.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
I finally got away from him. And about a year later, I was dating this guy he was from India. And I live in Virginia right now.
Okay.
But I'm originally from Illinois. So I wanted to take him, where I'm from and show him what it's like there in cornfields, and, all the farmland and all.
Sure.
So I want to take him to meet my grandmother. So we drive to Illinois from Virginia, and we drive straight through. So it's like 7:30 in the morning when we get about 45 miles from my grandma's house.
Mm-hmm.
And we decide to stop to get coffee, get out of the car for a few minutes. So we pull over into this Hardee's. Now this is Tuscola, Illinois.
Okay.
And it's right off of Interstate, I think it's 57 or 55.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are in and out of there. We go in there and the place is packed. It's a Saturday morning. The place is packed. As soon as I walk in there with my boyfriend, everybody shuts up. Because, you can hear a pin drop, and they all look at us. I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
I wasn't raised to be like racist and
Right.
never around any of that stuff. I was like, have these people never seen an Indian before?
Yeah.
But so instead of having coffee in there, we decide to take it to go, and so we go to my grandmother's. We stay a week. We visit everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next Sunday we're leaving. We stop at this gas station to fill up, and it's about 9 o'clock night, like 9 o'clock on a Sunday night. And you know how at the end of the gas pumps you have these big things with flowers in them?
Oh,
these
sure.
barrels?
Yep.
Okay. So they had these petunias in there. And I thought, I'm going to pick some of these. They smell really good, and I'll put some in the car. So I did that. I put some on his sun visor, and I put some on my sun visor. Okay, we get going down the road, and you have to take, like, Route 36. The best way to go is to take Route 36 to Indianapolis before you really get onto an interstate to get to Virginia. So we're on 36 East, and we're out, like, just before, I'm so sorry, just past Tuscola, where we had a little incident at Hardee's. And my friend says, I've never fooled around in a cornfield before. And I'm like, oh, we'll pull over.
Okay.
Anyway, we pull off the road, and right when we turn, it's like a gravel road, there's a cemetery right there. And I'm like, well, you can't stop there.
Yeah.
So he just pulls into the cemetery, and a car happens to be coming from down that road, going to Route 36. So we wait for that car to pass. We back out, get back out on 36. And all of a sudden we get to this detour, and the road is closed. So, but there's a car coming from where the road is closed, and it's just sitting there. And we're turning left, got the turn signal going and waiting for this car to go. Where it sits there. I'm like, just turn. But it was really weird, like the car was Christine or something. So we get going down the detour, we get back on 36, and he finds this road. So we pull over in there, and we pull into this little entrance, like where a farmer would take a tractor to start plowing.
Okay.
And this time of year is about August, I think, because the corn is tall, it's got tassels on. There's a full moon, actually.
Okay.
Fireflies are everywhere, lightning bugs. And he pulls in, and he turns the car off. And, my boy says, well, I got to use the bathroom. So he gets out of the car. Well, I'm sitting there waiting, and all of a sudden I get this flash in front of me, this little vision. I call them flashes.
Okay.
I see these two old men fighting. They're wearing, like, denim overalls. And blood is everywhere. And one of the guys has a hatchet in his hand. I mean, and he's just lighting this guy up, just tearing him up with his hatchet. And and then it ends, and I'm like, oh my God, whose property am I on? And I just kind of start getting this feeling, where the hair stands up on your neck.
Sure.
And I feel like, something's wrong. And my friend is back in the car, and we're kissing, whatever. And all of a sudden I get this feeling like something's coming towards me, like a freight train, like it's coming super fast.
Oh no.
Like in the Predator movie.
Right.
Like you can't see it, but you know it's coming. So this thing's coming to me and coming, and the closer it gets to me, the more I can't breathe, I can't talk, I'm frozen, I can't move. And when it gets to me, it goes from the top of my head all the way up to my feet, like it's whooshed through me.
Oh, jeez.
And when it went through me, I felt like pain and suffering, like the most severe pain and suffering you can think of. And I start crying. And finally, when I could move, I sat back, and I'm like, turn the car on. He's like, no problem. We get back out on the highway, and I still can't really talk. But there's an intersection with a gas station, like a local gas station. It's not like a 7-Eleven or anything.
Okay.
There's like 5 cars that are in the parking lot. The lights are on. I think it's about 10 o'clock by then. And I go to open my car door to get out, and the lady by the door waves her hands like, we're closed, you can't come in here. And I'm like, what? So anyway, we get back in the car, go a little bit further down the road, and then we see a 7-Eleven. I'm like, pull over in there. So we're closer to Indianapolis by then. Well, I open the car door to get out, and the flower that I put in my sun visor, the one on my side of the car is completely dead, and the one on his is still alive.
Oh, wow.
And that just freaked me out.
Oh.
I'm like, what was that? Was it an alien? Was it a demon? Everybody tells me it was a demon.
Sure.
And then I've had times where something's been in my room where I could feel it coming around the building. Like I'll be laying there by myself, and all of a sudden I feel like something's around me, looking for me. And then I'm like, please don't go to my window. Please don't go to my window. And then sure enough, it finds me. And it just comes in the room, and like it gets in the bed with me and pushes down on me like I can't breathe, I can't move, talk. I feel something there, but I don't see anything.
Oh, man.
And the last time it happened, when I finally got married, it was like there was a field between our house and our neighbor. So I woke up in the middle of the night and sat up, and I looked out my window, and it was like across the field, like looking at my room, like, I found you.
Oh, no.
But it was scared to approach my house.
Really?
Like, yeah, it was, I don't know if it was because I was with my husband and I was married, but it was like, I found you, you'll never be anywhere I can't find you.
Oh, wow.
And that's the last time I experienced it, but I don't know what it is.
Right.
And I really would like to know if anybody else knows what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
Or if anybody's experienced something like that.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like, a familiar thing at all. It just sounds like this random thing that for some reason just connected with you or wants to connect with you. And that's really creepy. So when you were pressed down in your bed, did you feel like it was sleep paralysis, or did it just feel like, could you move still, but you just felt that weight on you, or what was the situation?
I couldn't move. I don't really know what sleep paralysis is. I've heard of it, but I don't really know what it is.
Sure. It's basically that. It's like the presence that's making it impossible for you to move, but you know it's there and you can feel it. Most oftentimes people can feel it pressing down on them, like holding them in place.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. But I'm awake.
Sure.
Because I knew it was coming.
Yeah. And I've experienced that as well. When you're awake, well, for me, it's just being barely awake. So it's like I'm usually in the groggy state when it has happened in the past. Hasn't happened for a long, long time, but I know how horrible that feels just to be sitting there and unable to use your own body, but being aware of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of people have told me the guy that I was with that was really abusive, he died.
Oh.
And I was with him when he died, and all of this started happening like a year later.
Sure. That sounds about
and
right.
Then, since all of this has happened, my health has declined, tremendously. I'm in really bad shape for my age.
Oh, I'm so
I've
sorry.
often wondered, does that stuff affect your health?
Sure. Well, it sure can, yeah.
Or does something attach to you?
Yeah, well, you got to think of us, we are physical beings, but we're also energetic beings, right? So if there's an attachment that's negatively attached to you, and it could be drawing on your life force to, sustain it or to empower it or whatever, and certainly that would have ramifications on your whole body and on your body and your health, because, it's basically utilizing your life force and stealing that away. And not that it's like stealing years, but it's like running a marathon, but you've not actually left the couch. You just feel exhausted. You don't have the energy that you should. Do you feel that? Do you feel like you're lethargic and like you never have energy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I can never get off the couch.
That sounds like an attachment. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if it is that abusive ex of yours. That's, because a lot of times...
Yeah.
I'm sure that the parting wasn't real sweet at the end there. So I'm sure that whatever's going on with that person, their psychology was pretty damaged, obviously. And I think that you should connect with somebody that can help you with that. Now, I if you can email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, we have people that are psychics that deal with this kind of stuff and breaking attachments and things like that. And they don't need to see you. They can do it remotely, but they've helped tons of people. And I know they'd be happy to help you as well. And it's pro bono. It's free. So it's not going to cost you anything.
That's cool.
Yeah. So if you're interested in exploring that, please reach out to me via email and I'll get you guys connected.
Yeah, sure. Just tell you another thing, like about my visions and my flashes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My husband had a friend come visit us from Tennessee, and he brought his kids. My husband's got kids. I never had any, but they're all about the same age, and they're about 6 or 7. So we all go to Busch Gardens for the day. Take the kids to Busch Gardens, have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
So they're all the kids are walking ahead of my husband and I see the little one I guess I can say his name's Kenny. I looked at Kenny and I saw Kenny murdering somebody.
Oh.
And I thought, oh my gosh! So I told my husband, oh my gosh, I just saw Kenny kill somebody. Because he knows about my visions and stuff.
Sure.
They're not really visions. I just call them flashes.
Sure.
Well, my husband went to Baghdad, and his friend called here one night to see how I was doing, and I'm like, we're all good. How's Kenny doing? Well, Kenny's in jail for attempted murder. I'm like, what?
Oh my God. Wow.
That was just so bizarre. I'm like, I saw him killing somebody. Now he's in prison for killing somebody or trying to.
Yeah,
But
that's
just
scary.
stuff like that. It's weird.
Well, I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand too. I mean, you're clearly sensitive, and so sensitive people generally are plagued, in many cases by spiritual beings. It comes up all the time. In fact, people that have had a lifetime of paranormal activity, I'm sure, are sensitive. I mean, it's just every time that becomes a factor. And so if you have this degree of empathy and one of the clairs, they call them clairs, clairvoyance, clairescience, clairaudience, whatever, you seem to have those abilities. And so for some reason that it creates a beacon for things to come find you. So I think you really need to learn how to control those things, and get meditating, look into how to learn how to control this, because when you can control it, then it creates a protection for you. When you're just having these things happen at random, you're not really in control, you're not really driving it. And I think that that's when people are vulnerable to these torments. So definitely look into that. I think that'll help you.
I will definitely do that because, like you said, they're random.
Yeah.
I have no control over it. It just happens. So
yeah,
I will definitely do that. I appreciate you listening to me.
Oh, for sure.
I was extremely nervous calling.
How do you feel now?
I'm very shy. I'm shaky.
Oh, are you? Okay. But has it been a good experience calling in?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I enjoy listening to y'all very much.
Oh, thank you so much. And thank you for the support, and thank you for sharing your stories here. That really is awesome. And please email me, and I'll get you in touch with Sean, and we'll get you some help, okay?
I definitely will. Thank you so much for listening. It helps a lot.
All right. You're welcome. Have a great night, and thank you.
Okay. All right. Talk to you later. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
see ya. That's really cool. Wow. That's got to be tough. That's the thing. And when you look at situations like, demonic or dark attachments, it's very similar to abusive relationships. It's very similar. The big thing is to isolate people, and people that are going through a demonic oppression or possession or some other dark attachment or oppression, they tend to start to isolate. They tend to close down their world, and that actually creates a weakness for them. We do draw strength from our groups, our friendship groups, our family groups, and things like that do create strength for us. I mean, we're not islands. We're not, completely autonomous in that, we do glean benefits, whether it's shared energy, just in talking to somebody, having a great conversation. It invigorates us. It revitalizes us. It helps us process. And so if if you're going through something dark and you feel like you don't want to talk to anybody, that may not be your decision that you're making. You might be being influenced. So definitely make contact. Definitely contact people, reach out, and that's how it starts. That's how healing starts. You got to make contact. And that's not just spiritual. That's anything, same for depression. Depression makes people feel like they want to isolate. And that's about the worst thing they can do. I think that, we need each other. We need to help each other and lift each other up, because it's a heavy world for sure. But we have passed the hour mark. So I hope you guys have enjoyed another fine, fun-filled episode of the Night Terrors here on the Paranormal Portal. I have enjoyed bringing it to you. Thank you all so much. Do Brent the favor and comment on the video once it's posted. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate that. Yeah. Actually, comments do mean a lot. Likes mean a lot, and comments mean a lot. That's engagement. And that's one of the things the algorithm looks for in recommending videos to other people. So just by leaving a comment like, hey, I enjoyed this video, or hey, that shirt sucks. Don't wear that again. Whatever. This is my Venom shirt, so I like it. But yeah, the comments definitely help. So please give me comments. Give me likes. Hopefully you don't dislike it, but you know, if that's what you're feeling, then just be honest. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up our journey for tonight. Yeah, the podcast. Thank you, Julia. And new episodes will be coming. Remember, once again, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Head over to World Bigfoot Radio channel on YouTube. And the Duke is doing a premiere of the Glag Saga. And so you can hang out, you can chat, and listen and check out the retooled video that Duke is throwing together. That's tomorrow night right here on YouTube. Not on the Paranormal Portal, though. But then, when the portal comes on, you know, definitely visit us as well. All right, guys. Love you all bunches. Thank you so much. And love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night, everybody. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow night with Mr. Don Longbeard joining me here in our Wednesday night show. And remember, this Saturday night, Dean Harrison, Yowie researcher from Australia, will be joining us, and that is going to be an epic show, so please join us then. And stand by. If you ever want to catch updates about what's going on in the portal, make sure to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Paranormal Portal Radio. And if you want to reach out to me and you have a bunch of experiences of your very own, send me an email, and we can get you as a guest on our podcast. And the email is paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. And one other thing I was just thinking of, what the hell was it? Don't remember. It's gone. All right, guys, love you all, and I will see you tomorrow night. And remember, sweet dreams.